apart for a year will turn out to be a good thing for us. For me, anyway.
Miss me, did you?
So that's what this comes down to, saving your ego.
It's about my ego. It's about keeping Arcadia Waters safe from greedy developers like your mate Morgan
not mine,
Barr.
mate.
I'll tell you what, if the state government let Morgan walk all over me, if they take planning control away from us, then it's not just Cole Bunkley that he's trampling on, it's local government, democracy, it's the people who can't.
What if it's a choice? Warwick or a baby?
If he leaves you because of a baby, he was going to leave you anyway.
Thanks. I can see I'll have a wonderful time if ever I have to tell you I'm pregnant.
Hey, well, I hope you will have to
Don't worry,
tell me.
I'm not dropping any hints.
One day.
Yes, one day, safely a long way in the future.
No, Julie.
Relax, you're not going to be father of the year for a while yet.
The decision not to have children is more yours than mine.
Darling, are you dying to tell me you've had a bad day?
No, I've had a shit of a day.
Oh, well, a few dung beetles is not the end of the world.
No, nothing like being pregnant.
No wonder you're depressed.
I know you well enough to know that you're sincere. You believe in what you're doing. You've told me often enough democracy only works if good people like you get in there and do something. And when you say you look around the other councillors and you can't see one of them who could do as good a job of being mayor as you do, I agree with you. You're not just being egotistical, you're right. No, I correct that. You are being egotistical, but you're still right.
This hasn't been an easy decision, Cole. I have to make every dollar I spend count, and under the new structures, I can't afford to keep someone on in a part-time position where most of the time they can't even turn up here enough to make those part-time commitments.
No, the students understand what I'm doing.
The students, they come in here and they complain.
Oh, come on,
now, last
Nick.
year...
We all get complaints. Even you.
Yes,
Yeah?
yes, but last year there was a petition against you, the whole class.
Well, they're a very difficult class. A lot of troublemakers.
To be honest with you, Cole, I don't know why being mayor takes up so much of your time. It's just shaking hands and getting your picture taken, isn't it?
No, it's a lot more than that, Hector. It's about giving leadership. You know, leadership to the community on a whole range of tremendously important and often, Hector, very complex issues.
Yes, but my budget comes from the education department, not the Department of Local Government.
Well, look, I will be honest with you, Hector. I cannot take on a full-time position as long as I'm mayor.
Cole, I've only got a full-time job to offer you, and there's your dilemma.
Well, how long have I got?
2 weeks.
We're not going to be talking about your pregnancy tonight, are
As
we?
if I would.
Oh, unfortunately, darling, I've been surprised too often by the sort of things some women want to
No,
talk
I'm
about.
not some
in public.
women.
You realise we keep letting time slip away. Time will make a decision for you.
Okay, let's say, just so we can talk about this, what if I decided to have the baby?
Tell me what's going through your mind.
I don't know. Gordon's losing confidence in me. Victor certainly has. And the only reason Salwa's behind me is she doesn't want to agree with Gordon and Victor.
Gordon and Victor are losing confidence. Go back in there and convince
So in other words, you're saying don't have the baby?
What I'm saying is don't have the baby as a substitute for a career you think you can't have. Well, I know you can have one. Sure you can.
What if I want to have a baby?
I know. It's not easy.
Delegate some of your council work and make sure you don't miss any classes.
No, it sounds simple in theory, Julie, but a lot of people want to see the mayor, and that is not something you can delegate. Look, we could ignore it. Sneak out through the garage.
When have you ever ignored anything like that in your life?
Make sure it's very quick.
Oh, g'day, Drew. Look, I'm sorry if this seems a bit rude, mate, but Julie and I were just on our way out.
Well, just a quick question. How would I go about getting a park named after someone?
Right, I don't know offhand. I mean, I suppose you'd write us a letter stating your case, giving us a bit of background on the who and the why. Who is it, by the way? Anyone we know?
My wife.
Oh, Kyle, what are you thinking leaving him out there like that? Come in, Drew. Come in and sit down.
No, you were going somewhere.
No, not at all.
it's
Please,
fine,
come
mate.
in and
Come
sit down.
No, I won't. Thank you. I'm better when I'm standing.
It's Lainey, isn't it?
She died last week.
Drew, I'm very sorry, mate.
Thank you. Could we just talk about the park?
This is all her work. It's very beautiful.
I was just the labourer.
Yeah, look, one suggestion, though, I'd like to make to you, Drew. I don't think you should call it the Elaine Leonard Memorial Park. I think you should go for something a bit more living, like, I don't know, the Elaine Leonard Gardens.
Oh, Kyle, that's beautiful, Phil.
I like it.
Why is it so impossible for you to take?
I just can't believe his total
Yeah,
disinterest
other
in local
mayors have
government.
full-time jobs and still have time to do their council work and not get so completely overwhelmed by
Yeah,
it.
but other mayors don't stand up for local government like I do and take on the greedy developers. Which is why it wouldn't surprise me if what's behind all this is someone pressuring Hector into forcing me to resign.
I'll have to find a full-time job.
There's no need for panic.
We can't live on your piddly mayoral allowance and
No.
your part-time salary. It's just not
No,
enough.
but one option obviously is for the mayoral allowance to go up, but we'll talk about that later. Hey, Harry.
Here he comes. Now, don't be too. There's a subtle way.
Mate,
Yeah,
I'm
we're-
cool. Ah, che bella sorpresa.
Paulie, how are you,
It's the
mate?
mayor. And I Mrs. Mayor.
Julie, have you met?
Yes, hello, Polly.
Oh, you
Oh, could
met?
I show
Good.
you something inside? It is.
All right, not secret men's business, is it, Paulie?
Nah.
How's your wife, Harry?
Good, good. They've changed the medications. Still got the,
Lynn.
but there's no stopping her.
What's this, mate?
It's the letters we got so far to back us to get you a gong of the next Australia Day Awards. Cole Dunkley AO, what do you reckon?
Mate, I shouldn't be reading this.
I know, but I'm just so excited at how many people want to say something nice about
At
you.
least a few people think being mayor's more than just shaking hands and getting your photo taken.
Well, there were a couple who wouldn't, but that's only human nature. Anyway, obviously you can't tell anyone about this.
Hang on. I want to make sure there's no connection between this and you blokes, you know, wanting a licence for your club.
What? No
None
connection at
whatsoever?
all. No, two completely separate issues here.
Oh, as long as we're clear on that.
Definitely, and obviously best all round if we keep this hush-hush and tappiamo la bocca, eh? But good on you, mate, you deserve it.
Yeah.
Couldn't have been very funny. I didn't hear any dirty laughter.
Oh,
Enough of the small. About the club liquor licence.
Subtle as a brick. But no, it's a priority, Cole, with all the work we do for the community. As you know, saving lives, not to mention the backup we give you blokes every year at election time,
You
mate.
listen to this.
Putting up posters, letterboxing, handing out the vote cards, manning the polling booth.
Harry, you did all this for
Listen,
Harry.
It does
Which
put a
is
severe
good.
financial strain on the club's finances from a money point of view.
Paulie,
And the
it's not
only
me
way
you
we
got to
can
convince, mate. It's the council. Harry should tell you this. You've got to explain your financial position, show us a business plan.
We got all
Give us,
right.
hang on, Harry, I've not finished. You've also got to overcome a lot of local opposition who
I
think
know
it's
what you're
wrong
gonna
to sell
say.
grog on the beach.
Way ahead of you. No glass.
No glass and no
Right.
ring pulls.
Safety first.
Okay, well, make your case then.
You're not going to let me get a licence.
I think it's only fair we look at it.
Why don't you just say no?
Because it's not the way you do things in a democracy.
No, in a democracy, you let people get their hopes up and waste a lot of time, and then you say no.
Sorry, mate, here's a fresh one.
Yeah, no, I think it's probably right.
Listen, have you had a chance to have a look at the DA they put in next door to my place? They're calling it a double garage, mate, but it's way too big for that.
Right. Well, yeah, no, I'll have a look at it for you, for sure.
Did you get Cole's email about naming the park?
Yes, I did, and I hope we're not going to start naming every tiny corner of the place. People will want to name their nature strip next just because they mow it every second Sunday. Bill Smith Lawns.
Sorry I'm late, everyone. Been one of those sort of weekends, I'm afraid. George? Yeah. You know Paulie from the surf club?
Yes, I do.
Anything we can do for him on this one?
Not really, no. He's objecting to the possible future use of the garage as a workshop, but as far as we can tell, it'll just be used for parking a couple of cars.
Well, according to Paulie, you know, the owner's a mechanic. He's worried he's going to start up a weekend business, you know, doing up cars, all that noise.
Oh, if he does, we'll soon put a stop to that, but we can't say no to a garage.
Harry, you'll be recommending acceptance, will you?
Yes, I will.
Good, George. Harry, look, tell Paulie we'll do what we can. It's tricky, but
Comrade,
do what we can.
can't we at least defer it?
Yeah, okay, all right. Yeah, we'll buy him a bit more time. OK, look, thanks for coming, everyone. I think we've got all we need for Monday night's meeting.
What, is that it?
Oh, don't worry, Biddy. I'll get Emily to take a photograph of us all. You know, your local council hard at work on behalf of the community. George, get those plans out again, will you, mate?
Why do we always get caught doing these favours for Harry's mates?
Because Harry's mates, friend, don't only bring in votes for Harry, right? They bring in votes for us as well. Don't worry, these people will get their garage in the end. Karen? Just something for you to be thinking about.
Something else now?
No, yeah, look, the surf club will be asking for a liquor licence. Now, when this has come up before, usually splits along party lines. We say yes, Biddy's side says no. So it is going to need your cool detachment and independent mind to separate the issues from the politics.
Meaning you'd like me to do what?
Vote no.
Hello? We're waiting?
Yeah, all right, be there in a second.
Why don't you vote against it?
Well, it's tricky. There's a certain tradition of council being seen to support the surf club for all the work they do for the community.
What work?
They save lives.
Whenever I go to the beach, they're zipping round irresponsibly on those rubber inflatable dinghy things.
Zodiacs. Yeah, well, think about that. And think about why you wouldn't want them to have a bar and a clubhouse stocked with grog. Oh, and look, one more thing. I think it's time we had a bit of a look at the fees paid to us councillors.
Are you looking for a raise?
No, I just think, it's time for a review. And no, if you were the one to bring it up in council, it wouldn't get lost in a political bun fight between the two sides.
You're not telling me that if there's a possibility of a raise, either your side or Biddy's side will vote against it?
Oh, it could get messy.
I have to see the case for it first.
I'll owe you one. Oh, and one more thing. Did you get my email?
I'm counting to 10.
Do you want my support on that as well?
Yeah, I'll owe you another one.
You certainly will.
See, he agrees with me.
I won't forget.
Don't you worry about that.
4, 5, 6,
We join the others?
8, 9.
Just
All right, come on, hurry up, Emily. Very busy people here. Oh, and Biddy's here too.
Move over there, Paul. You've got to get me phone.
You'll have to squash in a bit.
Do we have to?
Smile.
What? He'd say no. Who is this? Well, I'm his wife, and I can tell you that I know that he absolutely wouldn't want... Some child. Well, very young voice, anyway. Ringing up, asking whether I want to write a letter supporting you getting an Australia Day award. I know, how ridiculous. Don't tell me you want one.
Oh, God, no. No, it's not something I would ever seek, Julie.
Honour to mark your time as mayor?
Well, it's not over yet.
No, but it was never going to go on forever.
Meaning what?
Oh, you know what I mean. Teaching's a lifetime profession. Being mayor isn't. It was always going to come to an end sometime, and so I thought you might use what Hector said as an opportunity to redefine who you are and what you are.
Cole Dunkley, lecturer in electrical engineering.
Oh, Cole, look at your face. It's not the end of the world. Really, it isn't.
You've called Biddy Marchant. I'm either out on business or on another call, so please leave a message after the tone.
Yes, hello, this is Tony Ludovic. I do some work for the Liberal Party. I wanted to see if I could meet you.
Hello, Tony. It's Biddy Marchant. I just stepped back in from a meeting and heard you call. How are you? Love to, Tony. Just wait till I get my diary.
Well, as far as I can tell, there's nothing to stop you and the councillors voting to raise the mayoral allowance right up to the maximum.
Right, and relative to other councils, where do we sit, Greg?
Oh, on the low side.
I thought we were a bit on the low side.
Yeah, but it's a pretty narrow margin. You know, there's not a lot in it.
Well, it's worth looking at, though. What about expenses?
What, you want us to look into meeting more of your expenses?
I think we should just open the subject up, you know.
Yeah, that's fine, but I'd be failing in my duty, Cole, you know, if I didn't point out...
Yeah, we're broke.
Yeah, we're broke,
Yeah, I know that.
And any raising those payments would have to come out of funds that are normally set aside for services to the ratepayers.
Yeah, but isn't there an argument somewhere, Greg, to say that a high-profile mayor would actually bring in more revenue so that everyone, councils and ratepayers alike, could get a bigger piece of the bigger, you know, pie?
How?
Well, by showing leadership, by showing that Arcadia Waters has strong leadership. You know, that's sympathetic to all the ingredients that make up for a sustainable, energetic, vibrant, growing community.
Yeah, what would you actually be doing?
Well, I'd be talking to people, you know, representing Arcadia Waters at all the sort of forums and conferences of business groups that would think of coming here and creating employment.
Have you got time for all this?
Well, it's quite possible that I could have time, Greg, or make time. Emily, I've got a job for you. I want you to do a piece on the value to the community of all the work that councillors do for local government, and do it for next to nothing financially, because this is really the point when you think about it. It's not a hobby. It's a lot of hard work, and the sort of payments that people get in local government are, you know, peanuts. Make sense?
Not really.
OK, here it is. Write this down. Do we pay councillors enough? Would we get better people in local government if we paid them more?
Right, it needs the human
That's
angle,
what
doesn't
needs
it?
Emily, the human angle. Good on you. Now, I've got to go to TAFE where they're not paying me enough either, but that's another story.
Cole, Paulie Del Favero from the surf
No,
club.
Janice, you'll have to tell him I'm too busy. Tell him to ring Harry.
You're not going?
Yeah, I'm late for TAFE.
Oh, I'm late for work.
All right, give you a lift.
Oh, mate, this park, Clary Doc will be doing his bizzo.
Who's Clary Doc?
Oh, man, mate, the union's good man. And this park, there was a sign, fell over in a...
Look, mate, we're going to have to talk about this later. I'm running late, all right? Sorry about this, mate, but I've got to go.
Clary Docker, look him up.
You can't obliterate history, comrade, our history.
Who's Clary Docker?
Good man, apparently.
A Labor man.
A union man.
Hero of the people.
Former mayor, probably in his day as famous as you are. Possibly even more famous. And yet, here we are, years later, two members of the same council saying on earth was Clary Docker.
Ah, but can you name for me, Karen, 3 famous TAFE teachers? I bet you can't. There's a big prize in it if you can. Actually, I'll make it easier for you. Name me 1 famous TAFE teacher.
Barry Jones.
Barry Jones?
You know, Barry Jones,
Yeah,
quiz show
member of
champion.
Parliament. Yeah, no, he was a school teacher.
Come on, you're splitting hairs. Give me the prize.
No prizes. He was not a TAFE teacher.
You don't even have a prize.
No, with the rules.
Yeah, rules set up so you'd win.
Hope you're not accusing me of cheating.
Why don't you just vote no to the surf club?
Oh, that? No, that's just a bit of local politics. Trust me on that one.
And while you're playing politics, Morgan Bartok's working away on his plans for the biggest shopping centre in the Southern Hemisphere, and you're doing nothing.
No, and I get a bit of free
Yeah,
space.
you run all over the place trying to keep too many people happy. And the big things you keep saying are so important get left behind. That's why they turn out to be such big embarrassments for you.
All right, well, what would you think if I was to give more time to being mayor?
Could certainly do with a bit more leadership.
So that's your personal advice, is it?
Yes, and that's another one you owe me.
How many's that?
3.
You sure?
Yes, trust me. Come on, Tony. Who was it who thought you should get in touch with me?
Well, no one in particular. There's just a new push within the party to get some more women into winnable seats.
Is this the Liberal Party we're talking about? We're the party of the self-made individual. We never give anyone help to do anything, certainly not at this level.
Yeah, you won't?
No, I won't, but you go ahead. So, why the big secret? Why can't you just tell me Joe Bloggs saw you in action and liked what he saw?
Sure you're not having wine?
No, but you go ahead, have what you like. This is my treat.
Good. I can see I'm going to enjoy this.
I hope so, Tony.
Has Cole said anything to you about TAFE? I think he's looking to sack.
I'm not surprised. It's never there.
He wants me to come up with a way we can pay him more money. Now, I can only assume that means he wants to be here full time.
Well, I hope you're putting a stop to that, Greg.
Oh, I'm going very slow on it.
It's not a case of going slow. It's a case of you can't do that, Cole. Sorry.
My thoughts exactly.
You let him become full-time mayor, you might as well hand back your MBA. You won't be managing anything. You'll be the office junior.
Leave it with me, George.
You be firm, so it's not a possibility. Then distract his attention by giving him a good pat on the back for something, so that he doesn't see it as a total rejection.
Something like naming a park after him?
That's the best idea you've had.
Now, look, I'd just like to raise with you the question of the mayoral allowance.
Why? You're not thinking of changing it? One of the best things you did was saying you wouldn't take the full mayoral allowance. You'd only take the same as any other council.
Keeping us all below the maximum.
That was very popular.
What if I could convince you that there's some very nasty forces at work here, developers pushing their mates in state government to put pressure on me by getting me sacked from TAFE?
Oh, so nothing to do with missing classes and being late with marking?
Right, well, I can see I'm not going to convince you. So, moving on to the surf club.
Yes, if I could just play devil's advocate. The surf club attracts young people. Won't it look like we're leading them towards drinking?
And everything the surf club does is about safety and saving lives. It doesn't really fit with selling grog, does it?
Right, next election when
yes,
you
Harry, we know the political reality.
What do you think, Cole?
Look, I think we've got to look at it, not just because of all the help they give to Harry and to all of us, but because they've got a right to put a proposal to us. And, you know, until we've heard it, we don't know whether your objections haven't already been taken care of by some system of management.
Too right.
And that's my view. Okay, look, just looking at this agenda, a couple of things we can deal with very quickly or maybe even defer. Item 2129, the application to name the reserve at the end of Carlu Crescent, the Laney Leonard Gardens. It's notice only at the moment, so there's no need for discussion.
Clary Docker.
Yeah, the public will be notified of any proposal. We also have item 4771. That is a development application for the rear of 48 Parabara Road. Now, I propose we defer to next meeting pending further information.
What further information?
Oh, I just think there's a couple of things we need to know about this.
Well, I thought we got everything we needed at the site meeting on Sunday.
It's only a one-week delay, Councillor.
Well, our chief planner is recommending acceptance. Why can't we deal with it tonight?
Yeah, there's just a couple of things that I'd like to be personally satisfied with before we deal with it.
Fine with me.
Let's defer and get on.
Put it to the vote if you want,
For
Councillor.
heaven's sake, let's not hold this up with silly
No,
debates.
all right, let's defer.
All right, well, I think that's about it, unless anyone has anything else. Councillor Schumacher.
Yes, I propose we defer debate on the surf club until next week.
We have representatives from the surf club in here tonight. They've come in specially.
I know, but there are a couple of things I'd like to be satisfied about before we hear from the surf club.
Councillor Bond.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Objection.
The question of the surf club is
point
one
of
of paramount
order.
importance. No
Mr.
point of
Mayor.
order. Obviously, your mother didn't teach
Right.
you manners.
That'll do, Councillor Bond. Councillor Martin, what's your point of order?
Mr Mayor, Councillor Bond should not be speaking in this debate.
I had my hand up.
He shouldn't even be in the room.
I got more votes than
Because,
pants, man.
Mr Mayor, you know he has a conflict of interest.
Look, Councillor Marchant, please.
Mr Mayor, this surf club,
Yes.
which every year, year after year, cries poor.
There is a proposal to defer this
Nevertheless, this poor, impoverished surf club somehow manages to get its fundraising act together and raises a lot of money. For what, Mr Mayor? Not for the club, Mr Mayor. No, no. Not
Order.
for safety, not for beach patrols,
Hurry
but
up.
for Councillor
That'll
Bond's
do.
election
No.
campaign. He has a
Councillor,
conflict
I've
of
told you to
interest
sit
and he
down.
should resign.
I'll resign yourself.
Sit down.
Up yours.
Councillors.
Bloody moron!
Settle down. Settle down. Silence, please. Listen, there's no need for anyone to resign. It is a very, very simple conflict of interest.
Are you sure, Mr Mayor? Are you sure this is not just another one of your monumental mistakes?
Right.
Calamity
Thank you,
Cole,
Councillor.
we
Oh,
should call him.
very
Disaster
good.
Dunkley,
Working
the
on the material
master
there,
of
Greg.
mistakes, who gives
Very
us
good.
one shame and embarrassment after another. Shame and embarrassment every time we go to the Land and Environment Court and lose. Shame and embarrassment when an international opera star cancels at the last minute. Shame and embarrassment when this council is left with a gigantic bill to pay off the entire staff of an independent garbage contractor. Shame, shame, shame. I just think we should all be aware of what this man is really like.
Oh, what? You've finished, Councillor Marchant. Resume your seat. Yes, I think under the circumstances, your proposal to defer this debate is probably a pretty good one, Councillor Schumacher.
What?
Members of the Surf Club, I'm very sorry. You're welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting. All right, moving on.
No, come on, tell me. I'm very keen to learn.
Well, you passed the first test.
And?
You've got guts.
And? Go on, don't worry, I can take criticism. I'm married to a man who's a ruthless critic.
Yeah, I know.
You know my husband?
Well, I met him, and...
Oh, come on, Tony. What does it take to get a bit of a compliment out of you?
Hard work. We haven't started that yet.
So who will you be reporting to?
Let's just concentrate on the hard work, shall we?
Do you know this guy, Tony Ludovic?
He does some work for the party.
You had something to do with this, didn't you?
Darling, you always complain I don't do enough to promote you.
Well, maybe you've got a reason now to change the habit of a lifetime.
My opinion was asked, that's all.
By who? Whom?
Tony.
What did you say?
I told him I'm very biased and he'd have to make up his own mind.
I'm sorry to say it, but I think you've become paranoid. I mean, really, all this about Morgan Bartok being behind the tape, taking your job away. I'm sorry, but that is not rational.
I'm not saying I believe that he did it. I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised if he did.
That's not much
That
better.
is the sort of thing that does go on out there, you know? It's a very nasty, grubby, dirty little world.
It really makes me wonder why you want to be part of it.
Well, someone's got to do it.
Yeah, but why you? You spend so much time playing politics. There are a lot of big questions you never ask yourself, like what you really want and what will make you happy. Do you know? You spend so much time being important, running from one busy crisis to another, that you don't give yourself time to think. Perhaps I'm the one making the mistake. Perhaps this is what you want.
Cole, have you seen what came in on our website this morning?
If it's another complaint, just delete it, all right?
No, it's some emails from the gardening club. They like the idea of calling that park the Elaine Leonard Gardens. And they said they'll help with the weeding and the replanting.
A bit of support for a change. Print that for me, will you please, Janice?
I'll put them on your desk.
Right, Emily, you got an idea for that story, have you?
I've got a great idea, actually. Yeah.
Good. Full of human interest and the drama of life in local government.
It's got all that. It's
Yep.
Clary Docker.
Clary Docker?
When I heard his name in council, I thought, who would this man be that he used to be mayor?
Now,
He
Emily-
had a park named after
Emily,
him, and now no one can remember
no,
who he
no,
is.
listen, mate. I do not
I
want a
don't
story.
think you should call me mate.
Okay,
I don't like it.
I will call you
It's
Emily.
very blokey,
Yes, I am
mate.
calling you Emily.
And mate sort of blurs our working relationship.
Okay, but Emily, listen to me. Emily, I do not want a story on Clary Docker.
It's a good story.
I don't want it.
I know a good story when I see one.
No, not Clary Docker, because I don't want to have to tell Drew Leonard. Yeah, you remember him, the wife who died?
Yeah,
Did the gardening in the
I know.
resort? I don't want to tell him that we're putting the old sign back, and the park is now called Clary Docker Reserve after some old party hack time server who is probably forgotten for very good
He was
reasons.
a very good mayor. He was very popular.
Emily, I don't want that.
You
Is this
asked
a bad
me
time, Cole? No,
to
no.
write the story, so let me write it.
All right, but it had better be bloody good.
Will be.
You wanted to see me, Cole?
Yes, Greg. Have you had a chance to look at what I talked to you about?
Which of the many?
A financial way of expressing the value to the community, a high-profile mayor.
Yes, I have. Now, I've come up with a different way of approaching that.
Yes, such as?
Yeah, for a start, let me just say how much we appreciate, all of us, all the time you put in here, Cole.
Yes, well, I certainly hope so.
Everyone's always saying how dedicated you are.
Yeah, I'm glad people notice.
Yeah, now, some of the staff, you know, they thought that, you know, with this question about naming the park, that it might be a very popular idea if we named it after you.
What, the Cole Dunkley Reserve? No, I don't think so, Greg.
It'd be a very popular idea.
Right, is this a roundabout way of saying you can't raise the mayoral allowance?
No, it's a roundabout way of saying, hey, you're a good mayor.
Right, yep, thanks very much, Greg. And as much as I can take endless amounts of praise, I would like some figures on the mayoral allowances and expenses.
You leave it with me, Cole.
You can close the door, Greg.
First big point, you should drop all this Mr. Mayor every 10 words. Mr. Mayor on the one hand, Mr. Mayor on the other hand, Mr. Mayor. It sounds like a performance. It sounds fake.
Have you got anything good to say about me, Tony?
Next big point, never shout.
When was I shouting?
Men can get away with shouting. They can even get away with being a bit of a bully sometimes, but women never can. People do not like women who shout.
I will never shout again.
Right. Now show me how you would say to the mayor, you're a shame and embarrassment to the whole community.
You're a shame and embarrassment to the whole community.
Quieter.
You're a shame and embarrassment to the whole community.
Nicely.
You're a shame and embarrassment to the whole community.
Look, you're not mocking him, you're just telling him a simple fact. Just relax and be yourself.
You're a shame and embarrassment to the whole community.
Let's try something else.
These are the letters from the gardening club saying yes to the Elaine Leonard Gardens.
Well, at least there's no one proposing Clary Docker.
There's one letter from his granddaughter asking us to put the sign back. Apparently she's written before.
Got a petition, 623. A lot of people fully support the club getting a very popular. I won't hold you, have a look.
Right, these are all real people, are they, Harry, who without being put under pressure say they want the surf club to get a licence, yeah?
Every one of them, 623.
Including Homer Simpson? I don't think Homer's a real person, is he, mate?
Homer. What was her name?
Elvis Presley. God, he's alive and living in Arcadia waters. God. Hey, looks like poor old Slobodan Milosevic can't even spell his own name. Poor bugger.
There's always a few. Call it 600, the voice of the people.
Don't know how you can do that. Some of those signatures could be worth a lot of money.
You asleep?
No, wide awake. I come down here, I didn't want to disturb you.
I just wanted to say, I agree with what you say about standing up to the greedy developers, but I'm worried that you can't win. Not when, no, let me say it. Not when they've got the money and the power and the connections and you do want to do something, but you're only a small cog and you wind up disappointed and blaming yourself and... Anyway, that's what I've been worried about. Probably nothing like what's been keeping you awake, but there it is.
Well, no, it's not in a completely different universe. I mean, I do say all that about standing up to the developers, and what do I end up doing? Reading through petitions signed by Elvis Presley and Homer Simpson. Rex the bloody wonder dog. I'm dancing around trying to say no to the surf club for a licence they shouldn't even be asking for, because it's wrong. We all know it's wrong. All because Harry feels we owe him something. And we do.
You talk about standing up to the developers, you can't even stand up to the surf club.
Yeah. Sometimes I feel like I'm just writing my name in the sand.
Can I come in there? Snuggle up to you?
Be more comfortable upstairs.
Wouldn't be half as romantic, though.
do undervalue the importance of teaching.
Biddy, could I speak to you for a minute?
Not now, Greg. I've got a million things to do.
It's just that the Mayor has put me in a very difficult situation where a number of things of which I think you ought to be aware.
Quickly, Greg.
Yeah, well, he's putting a lot of pressure on me to increase his mayoral expense budget.
Is he now?
Now, just between you and me, I think he's losing his job at TAFE. Now, as far as I'm concerned, a mayor is not a job for someone who simply has too much time on their hands and thinks they can just wander in and out of here whenever they... I mean, I'm not implying that. I mean, I know you've got those things that you have to do that make you very busy.
No, it's all right, Greg. I happen to agree that if you can't do the job in a couple of hours a week, then you're hopelessly inefficient. You shouldn't be in the job.
As you're aware, I'm very aware of my responsibilities, read a budget, bottom line.
And is it true, Mr Mayor, that you have been putting pressure on the General Manager in a crude attempt to raise your mayoral allowance? No?
And try it again. This time just pitch your voice a bit deeper. Deeper voices have more authority.
OK. And is it true, Mr Mayor, that you have been putting pressure on the General Manager in a crude attempt?
That's a bit too deep. Just try and be conversational.
And is it true, Mr Mayor, that you... Ignore it. I'll get it later. And is it true, Mr Mayor, that you have been putting pressure on the General Manager in a crude attempt to raise... Biddy Marchant. Write a letter supporting Cole Dunkley. For what?
I was right, wasn't I?
Clary Docker was a pretty impressive mayor.
It's sad, though. He put in all that time, hardly got paid for it. Was probably the best mayor this area's ever seen, and now no one knows his name.
Best mayor, you reckon?
Well, look at what he did. Turned this place from a swamp and a caravan park into a thriving suburb. Set out the main parks and playing fields, protected the beaches.
Oh, is this a bad time? It's just, I've got some important information.
Yeah, on?
Yeah.
Oh, right, yeah. Emily, would you mind?
Oh, I'll go for coffee.
Yeah, no, it won't take long.
Yeah, Cole, Biddy Marchant is giving me absolute hell on your request to raise the mayoral expenses.
Well, how does she know about it?
Oh, one of the other councillors must have told her.
Well, I can't think of which one, though, Greg, can you?
I don't know. Harry Bond?
Just been reading some stuff on Clary Docker. Now, in 1946, he wrote a paper recommending that councillors be paid a fixed salary, pegged as a percentage, Greg, to the salary of a state parliamentary backbencher.
Yeah, didn't go through, though, did it?
No. As a matter of fact, his paper was instrumental in having exactly that sort of system brought in Queensland.
Yeah, but not here.
No, not here, Greg, no.
What was his name again?
Clary Docker.
Clary Docker.
Well, aren't we just writing our names in the sand? I mean, we were there for a while, a few people noticed, and then gone and forgotten.
Well, I actually think we're slightly more permanent than that.
But I mean, isn't the cold hard reality Morgan Bartock's going to build his bloody great big mall whether we like it or not?
I hope not.
I reckon we're just trying to stop a tidal wave by throwing bricks at it.
This is the whole reason I came into local government, to stop people like Morgan Bartock building his revolting rubbish everywhere. I thought you were on my side.
Well, you thought I was on your side?
Yeah? Why do you think I've been putting so much effort into you? Letting you moan on about all your problems, doing deals with you. Letting you build up a huge debt of favours you owe me.
It's only 1 or 2, isn't it?
Up until today it was 3, but I'm charging you double for today, so that makes it 6.
What are you charging me double for?
Getting you back in the straight and narrow.
Never left it, Karen.
Cole Dunkley, the wimp, is not an attractive sight.
I didn't say I was giving up. I just said, you know, looking at both sides of the equation.
Well, don't. No one wants you to be fair about this. We want you to know what you want and get out there and fight for it.
Jeez, Morgan Bartock really trod on your toes, didn't he?
It's not just personal.
Doesn't matter. You know what they say, the personal is political. And sometimes it's very personal.
Show me.
Yes, Tony, I'm very happy. Keep the pressure up. Don't worry, I'm going to.
Harry, I am not accusing you. Of course it's Biddy. She's talked to Ava and she's timed this for tonight's meeting. I'll tell you what, the gloves are off now, mate. Concentrate on this. She's pregnant. Yep, spread the word. She's having a baby. She's not going to be on council much longer, and this is a nasty little idea of a parting shot.
Is there any truth in this about your job?
Well, how can there be? I don't see Hector till this afternoon, so no decision's been made.
Or when you do make a decision, will you tell me about it before I read it?
Julie, I will tell you when I have seen Hector. It's a matter of Hector and I sitting down and just seeing what works for both of us.
You know, that's your 3rd cup in a row.
Well, according to an article I saw in a medical journal recently, they now think coffee is actually good for you.
According to a survey I read, 90% of politicians are incapable of telling the truth or even knowing it.
Hector, I stopped the development on Cemetery Point. I mean, that was me. And now that same developer wants to build a bloody great shopping mall. I've got to stop that. And you know, I promised to build a regional art gallery. Now, if I could just get that started, I don't need to be there when they lay the foundation stone or anything, but I just want to make sure that, you know, that it gets up, make sure it happens. I mean, that's
It's
all
all
I'm asking,
good,
mate.
Kyle, it's all good. But you haven't said a single word about your commitment or even your interest in teaching.
No, it's there, Hector. I love teaching. I love teaching. And one day, when I'm not mayor, that's what I'll be doing.
Yeah,
Full
but
time.
as long as you're mayor, mate, and I've only got a full-time position to offer, I haven't got a job for you.
There's got to be something here in a college this size.
Oh, not much.
Hector. There's got to be something.
Best I can do is I can put you on the relief list.
The relief list. Julie?
The point is, you've chosen what you want. This morning, I realised I have to look after myself. I don't blame you. I'm going back to Melbourne, where I'm going to live with Neil. He's not like you. He's just an ordinary person. He doesn't want to have his face in the paper or win any awards or honours. He just wants to live a quiet, ordinary life with a simple job and a family and children. And holidays in a rented cottage on the coast for Christmas. And that's what I want too. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for not saying all this to your face, but I knew that if I tried, we'd only end up talking about you. Some things never change.
Any sign of
No, Councillor Bond.
Looks like I'd better.
Yeah, and it's getting quite late. We should.
We're right now.
Go for it.
What do you think all that's about?
Councillor Bond.
The agenda.
I hereby declare the meeting open at...
Big hands on the...
7:23.
7:23. I apologise for the lateness of... do we know where the mayor is?
Detained somewhere.
Ah, he's detained somewhere. Nevertheless,
The agenda's on top.
What?
The agenda, it's on top.
Oh, yes, thank you. Yes, I've got here, Mr General Manager. First item, apologies.
I hope you're going to start with a general apology for yourself, Mr Deputy Mayor.
One more remark like that and I'll have you thrown out of the chamber. There are some distinguished visitors in the gallery, so I propose we move straight to item the surf club.
Oh, objection?
Overruled.
On what grounds?
Yes, why?
There's a rule.
What rule?
Look it up.
What rule?
Order. Bit of respect. There's a rule that When the chairman rules, that rule is the rule. And in this instance, I so rule, right? Surf Club. Will I just finish this? We're up to Surf Club.
Right, thanks, Harry. Right, thanks, Councillor Bond. My apologies for being late.
You all right, Col?
Yes, good.
We're up to apologies.
Thanks. Right, minutes of last meeting. Any objections or alterations? None? Minutes confirmed.
Excuse me, Councillor.
All right, I can see we've got quite a few people in the gallery tonight, so we don't keep them here forever. We might move very quickly through the first part of our agenda. If you look at the DAs, including the one to third from last week, they're all recommended acceptance. I propose we deal with them all together without any need for further discussion.
Yeah, seconded.
What?
Thank you. Those in favour?
No.
Those against? Motion carried.
I didn't vote.
Too late, Councillor Bond. Try and pay attention. Right, there are a couple of small budget items I don't think anyone's going to argue, so let's approve them in a group, shall we?
I second.
Right, all those in favour? Against? Motion carried.
Clarence Tyrone Docker, a living legend, a part of our history and our heritage. We will not forget him, and this is why we will put back the sign and preserve his memory in the Clarry Docker Reserve.
Yes, thank you, Councillor Bond. I think that's the last speaker on the subject of the naming of the park.
No, Col.
Councillor Marchant?
Mr Mayor, I wonder how long you're going to keep up with this charade. And why have you got all of these people in here wasting their time when what you would really like is for the park to be named after you?
Yes, well, before we explore that no doubt fascinating theory, there is still one last speaker, if you don't mind.
I'm sorry, I do apologise.
Thank you. Sorry, Drew, we almost overlooked you. You're the last speaker, so off you go.
Thank you, Mr Mayor, councillors. I also have been told officially what I believe the woman councillor was referring to. So I've come in here to make you an offer. If you agree to name that little reserve the Elaine Leonard Gardens in memory of the work my wife has done, then I promise to wear this every day of my life.
Yes. Right. No, I don't think that'll be necessary, Drew. Drew, sometimes people want to force us into making a choice between this and that, one thing and the other. Can't have both. So they tell us. Yeah, okay, sometimes there does need to be a compromise, and fair enough. But sometimes we've got to make a choice. It's a question of knowing the difference. Now, in the case of the matter in hand, Councillor Bond is right. The sign should go back. The park is the Clarry Docker Reserve. However, at the same time, the Clarry Docker Reserve can contain the Elaine Leonard Gardens, and I propose that it does.
I second.
In this case, you can have both. Those in favour? Those against? Motion carried. Yeah, thanks for coming in, Drew. Oh, and don't give that T-shirt to the Smith family. I'd feel sorry for the person who'd end up wearing it.
Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Now we come to the Surf Club. Now here's a case we can't have both, Harry. Councillor Bond has a clearly established conflict of interest, and I call upon Councillor Bond to leave the chamber.
What?
You are required, Councillor Bond, not to take part in this discussion, not to vote on the issue, and to leave the chamber. No, you're still in the chamber, Councillor.
No, I'm in the public.
You are still in the chamber.
No, I've taken off my council I'm wearing my surf club. Bizzo.
No, in here, you can only wear your council bizzo. Any other bizzo, you leave outside. You have to leave.
Under protest.
Councillor Marchant.
Mr Mayor, isn't there one more conflict of interest you haven't declared?
Not that I'm aware of.
Isn't the Surf Club putting your name forward for an Australia Day award?
If anyone, and anyone at all, was doing anything to get me any sort of award, I make this very clear, I do not want it. I have never wanted it. And if I am offered any such award, and you can write this down, I will refuse to accept it. Now, does that deal with your conflict of interest, Councillor Marchant? And on the subject of the Surf Club, I cannot imagine that there will be one councillor here who would vote yes to the Surf Club getting a licence. In fact, I will test that by making that a motion and putting it to the vote.
Seconded.
Seconded almost unanimously. Those in favour? Those against? Motion carried. Someone can tell Councillor Bond he can come back into the chamber.
What? No way, Jose. I'm staying out. No respect. No respect.
You can forget he's bloody gone. Come on.
Right. That ends the item of public interest. Well, Councillor Marchant, you're standing again.
Yes, Mr Mayor. There are a couple of rumours going around, and I think we should just get them all out into the open and deal with them.
Sounds like a very good idea to me.
The first rumour doing the rounds of council involves yourself, Mr Mayor. They are saying that you either have been or are about to be sacked by TAFE. They're also saying that you'll be a bit broke, and so you may want to reopen the question of the size of the mayoral allowance.
He won't do it.
I just wanted to say that I do understand your predicament, and I and my team would fully support any move by you to raise the mayoral allowance to the maximum permissible, as long as it is for the mayor only and not for the councillors in general.
You've done a good job. Well done.
You shouldn't pay attention to rumours, Councillor Marchant. I haven't been sacked from TAFE. There is still a place for me at the college. I will not be seeking any increase in my allowance.
Good. I'm glad we cleared that up. Now, there's one more rumour that I would like to put an end to. This one concerns myself, that I am pregnant and that I will soon be leaving council.
Yes, well, I'm glad we agree on the damaging effect of these rumours, Councillor Marchant.
I was also glad, Mr Mayor, to hear you say that things don't always have to be a choice between one thing and another. They can be both. I believe in this century I can have my baby and be a councillor. More than that, I believe that I can be both mother and mayor. Yes. And I intend to be.
This will work very well for her.
Well,
You're fired.
thank you, Councillor, for that momentous announcement. Allow me to be the first to congratulate you in public. I'm sure you've already been congratulated in private. I admire the choice that you've made, Councillor. It's a positive choice. It should shift our focus from our needs in the present to the needs of our children in the future. When we think of your child, Councillor, we think of all the children who will be born and grow up in Arcadia waters, and we think about what sort of world we want that to be and the role that we can play in the shaping of that world. And one thing, Councillor, that is very, very clear is that we have to find a way to make sure that that world is not formed purely as a byproduct of someone wanting to make a profit. Let's work together, Councillor, to make local government strong, to keep the things we've got that are beautiful, and to turn the bits of ugliness that we think we're stuck with and turn them into the beautiful. So that your child in the future, Councillor, all our children in the future, it's not that they'll thank us, but they might just say we got it right. Eh? Not that we got it wrong.
Thank you.
That's for you.
No. Thanks, Drew. Not that I'll ever wear it.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yep, no worries.
Everyone knows.
Yeah, what was the rush?
We should let everyone know before any silly rumours start flying around.
Yeah, but I meant for you to wait until I'd gone home.
you.